So, um, it's no secret, and for those who don't know, Marvel's about to do Scarlet Spider Returns. Now, it's unofficial whether or not it's going to be Ben Reilly coming back, if he's going to come back at all as Scarlet Spider, or even if it's going to be a new Scarlet Spider. We don't know. But I had this weird idea I was talking to with Tori GNR last night. And we were talking about this, and I had this completely insane idea to use Ben Reilly as an updated character for the current Amazing Spider-Man comics. Here's my more or less crazy idea for Ben Reilly, if he were to come back. Now, first off, I would have it like him returning as Scarlet Spider, and him talking to Peter like, I've been gone, and that wasn't me who the Green Goblin killed during the Clone Saga. Ben Reilly was killed by the Green Goblin, or was it the Hobgoblin? I don't know. I didn't read the true Clone Saga according to Brian Michael Bendis. I didn't bother reading that shit. But yeah, he basically tells Peter, that was just another clone. I was locked up in the Jackal's laboratory for the longest time. I managed to break out, and Peter doesn't buy it at all. He's convinced that this is not the real Ben Reilly. If there were a real Ben Reilly, there's a lot of trust going on. But eventually, they learn to trust one another as Ben Reilly goes around as the Scarlet Spider. And then he comes up with another idea. He approaches Pete with an idea. He approaches Peter with, you know what? I can maybe there's let me back up. He approaches Peter with this idea after seeing a lot of suspicion going to him, seeing that people think he's Spider-Man more and more. So he comes up to him saying, you need to get some heat off your back. So you know what we should do? There should be two men being Spider-Man. There should be two men. More or less, what he's saying is there should be. You and I should share being Spider-Man. I can be Spider-Man for a while, and then we can switch around to you being back to Spider-Man, because you still need to be that hero. I can't be Spider-Man all the time, and neither can you. So maybe we can share the burden of being this hero. So Peter is a little. So I would have it like Peter's a little off about the idea, but then he eventually agrees to it, allowing Ben to have a spare Spider-Man costume, another red and blue one. He stops being Scarlet Spider and becomes Spider-Man for a while. And how I would have it throughout this idea is that Ben Reilly and Peter Parker, it's more or less they share the book now. Ben Reilly at one point can be Spider-Man, and you can go on you'd follow adventures as Ben Reilly when he's Spider-Man, and have Peter a supporting character, and then Pete can go, and then you can have stories with Peter, being Spider-Man, and have Ben Reilly as the supporting character. It doesn't have to be just one character at a time. It can be two characters, and have it go back and forth. I think that's a cool idea of two characters sharing one identity. I wouldn't have them it's two different costumes, so they tell each other apart. No, it's the same costume. I mean, Peter could have some downtime, and then while Ben's out fighting crime, he can spend time with his girlfriend and Aunt May, and throw the suspicion off of of people suspecting of him being Spider-Man. And then while Ben's out fighting crime, and then he can give it back to being Peter when he wants to have some downtime to himself. And he wants to start a life. I would have it like Ben wants to, he wants to, have his own life again. After being locked up by the Jackal for so long, he never really had an identity to himself. He wants to become, his own person. So he would start his own life, have his own supporting characters. And more or less what I'm trying to say is that in this story, in this idea, is that Peter and Ben are the two main stars, and you could follow at one point Peter, then it would go to Ben, then go back to Peter, a story about Ben, and then or at least a story arc about Ben, and then it would go back to being Peter being Spider-Man. So like I said before, it'd be two people sharing one identity. I think that's a really cool idea. Not a lot of people have tackled that. I mean, it's been tackled before as, Batman Incorporated, but it's not like multiple Batmen. It's two different people, and they're sharing one identity. Well, and just to throw suspicion off one another, when people start suspecting, hey, is Ben Reilly Spider-Man, or is Peter Parker Spider-Man? Oh, they're Spider-Man. We totally throw off the identity. We totally, give up on Peter thinking, people think he's Spider-Man now. I know it's a completely insane idea, like I said, and it sounds kind of dumb, but I just thought it'd be a cool idea to have a superhero book where you could actually flip flop back and forth between two characters in one superhero book rather than have it as like a team book per se. Like it can be a completely fresh story each idea with each character. Like it can be 1 minute it's Peter, and then 1 minute it can go back to being Ben. Being their own Spider-Man. I'd even have them like they do things differently as Spider-Man. When they are Spider-Man, they do things differently. Solve their own different crimes. Like Ben would be Spider-Man, he solves a crime or some kind of great mystery, and then it would go back to being Ben would go back to being Ben Reilly while Peter Parker's out being Spider-Man. And you're probably wondering, why not just have it as Ben Reilly as Spider-Man all the time, and Pete can enjoy being have his own life? Well, I'd have it like Peter, he wants to keep being Spider-Man, as a part-time Spider-Man, because he doesn't want to give up, being this hero, because he still feels like it's his responsibility. So he's more than willing to share with Ben, but he would basically be like, we're sharing being Spider-Man. There's not going to be two Spider-Men because that's too obvious. And I would also have it like he's trying to get to know this and try to trust Ben Reilly and see if it really is him. Still thinking that he's dead, and also have it he's trying to play up even have it like when Carly Cooper's introduced to Ben Reilly, he's like, well, you guys look pretty alike, and then I'd have it like Peter would say, oh, he's my he's my cousin. We haven't talked in a while, and if he ran into even have it with Aunt May. I think he would have it like not really in the same room together, but maybe have it like 1 minute, because Ben Reilly and Pete do look alike. I mean, they're exact clones of one another, but I'd have it like Ben and Pete would switch around being. Well, Ben would pretend to be Peter Parker sometimes if Peter's out being Spider-Man, and even have it like. Kind of like that, like Ben would pretend to be Spider-Man, pretend to be Peter Parker when he's visiting his Aunt May, and pretend to be Peter's cousin around Carly Cooper and Spider-Man's friends at the Horizon Labs, or no, I didn't mean to say friend, I meant to say cousin, like distant cousin or something. So yeah, I know this idea is completely insane. But I just thought it'd be cool, and this got my mind going after hearing about Scarlet Spider's return. And like I said, it's not confirmed if it's going to be Ben Reilly coming back as Spider-Man, or if it's going to be another character taking up the Scarlet Spider character. The Scarlet Spider identity, or if it's going to be a completely new character coming out of Spider Island, becoming Scarlet Spider. I just really thought that'd be a cool idea for a real twist for as god awful as the Clone Saga was. I really did kind of dig. I really did kind of think Ben Reilly was cool as Scarlet Spider, but I thought it'd be cool to have a superhero book where it focuses on these two people who are almost like brothers, sharing the identity of an iconic superhero. I just thought that'd be a cool twist on it. But anyway, I'm out.